Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at how you can complete the extreme class challenge for the Metal Cooler core stage. So I actually did this in my original attempt of the stage, but I thought I'd switch in some alternatives for some of the team members, basically just to give people not necessarily a second option because I'm still running the same lead, but just basically to give people kind of who maybe can't think or maybe are struggling to think, I should say, of like alternatives, just some kind of reference to go off of. And yeah, it's always an excuse to try out another team and take on the stage, so why not? So anyway, obviously the challenge here is to use a full extreme class team. So that would be extreme int, extreme tech, extreme physical, extreme strength, and extreme AGL. And obviously you're going to want to complete the event using this team so that you can get the additional stones and tickets. Now, in general, the stage is kind of broken up into two parts. Well, I say in general, but it's broken up into two parts. Essentially, the first boss is invincible. So the int Metal Cooler army is invincible, kind of like obviously Metal Cooler. So he can't die. Basically how it works is you have to face him for 3 turns. He does do quite a little bit of damage. I think his super is around 700,000 and his normals are around 210, 200k or so, I believe, around that mark. So he does dish out a decent amount of damage. He's not massive. He will lower your defense on his super attack, which is obviously a little bit irritating. And he does have the ability to launch multiple super attacks as well during the turn, but it's generally not like, you know, he's not impossible. He can seem a little bit daunting, especially the first time you face him. Especially if you haven't watched the video, you'll probably think, why am I doing no damage? That is because his health pool is so high that you effectively can't do damage to him. You can, in theory, but his health pool is so high you can't really. So yeah, obviously in terms of that, that's the first phase, and then the second phase is against the physical Metal Cooler core, who's quite tough. He can randomly seal one of your characters. He also raises his attack when he launches his super attack, so if he launches his super attack, he's going to hit even harder afterwards. Yeah, he's immune to sealing, stunning, defense lowering, attack lowering, etc. So we're running an extreme base team. Obviously we're using the we're using the strength final form cooler as our lead. He's a very strong lead, so honestly he's gonna carry us. And the reason why we go for double Terrifying Conqueror's cooler, or you don't have to go double but always choose him as your friend, is because of the fact that the second phase is obviously against a big physical type enemy. So having quite possibly the strongest strength unit in the game on your team is pretty helpful, I want to say. In terms of items, obviously we're bringing a Whis, as is kind of almost pretty much standard procedure here in this event. So yeah, Cooler, he is going to be the he's going to be the guy to lead our teams. Obviously he's 170% movie boss or Terrifying Conqueror's lead, 30% additional HP for those on the transformation boost team, which includes the majority of our team. Alongside him, we're going to have quite a few interesting units. Cooler himself, great unit, obviously gains additional attack and defense for every attack performed, along with Key. Also has the ability to launch 2 additional supers each, he launches 2 additional attacks, each with a medium chance of becoming a super attack, and then he's got a guaranteed super attack after the turn or during the turn in which he performs his 10th attack of battle. He's also got an active skill, can be used upon performing 8 attacks in the battle, so not too long. Honestly, sounds like a lot, but it's really not when you've got Cooler, who just launches so many damn attacks, basically. So Cooler is pretty nutty. He is a pretty crazy unit. But yeah, overall, he's really a lot of fun to use, and he can really cause a lot of damage. So we take him. We are taking the Easy 8 Cooler as well. Just a great pairing partner, great unit. He can stack defense now. He obviously provides support as well in that first phase, which is really helpful. And then you can transform him for additional damage. Not really needed here, because obviously you're not facing a pure Saiyan. So it's actually better to keep him in his base form. Just allow him to continue stacking defense, basically. There's no real particular reason, I want to say, to, you know, kind of like push him out. Or there's no real reason, I should say, to essentially, you know, yeah, basically there's no real reason to transform, because you can't get the guaranteed criticals, so you're not really gaining too much by transforming him. So yeah, obviously, you know, we do have those two as a very powerful pairing. Obviously, we're focusing on strength type units. In terms of some changes, so we do have the Janemba. So we have physical Janemba, just a great unit. Shares 3 links, I believe, with the Cooler, with the final form Cooler. He shares Big Bad Bosses, Metamorphosis, Legendary Power, and Fierce Battle, so he shares 4 links. He guards all attacks, which is super helpful. He also nullifies Ki Blast supers, although not necessarily super helpful here against this Cooler, who I believe does an unarmed super attack. It's still pretty useful. Yeah, I think it's still obviously very good overall. So yeah, just in general, pretty solid stuff, realistically speaking. But yeah, so Janemba looking very good. And then we have the Tech Janemba as well, who's also obviously a fantastic unit in his own right. Guards all attacks. He provides support as well when you get 4 more type key spheres, but he also does damage reduction of 30% with 2 or more rainbow key spheres, which is something you're going to probably use a lot more overall. So yeah, obviously Tech Janemba is pretty solid. The big risk unit here is going to be the Int Jason Berta. Obviously, they don't have their primary link set, which they usually would on the Ginyu Force team. You know, when they're on the Ginyu Force team, they have some really solid links, like Frieza's Army, Frieza's Minion, Loyalty, and these things generally give them a lot more defense. And because of that, they would be a lot less of a risk. Now, here you rely a lot more on their evasion. It's not to say that they're distinctly bad when they don't have those links active, but they definitely are not as strong. So instead, try and push them out of harm's way. Like you'll see, I obviously would have loved to keep Cooler on rotation, but just at this point when you're so close to victory, rather clutch it out by just pushing them off the situation, out of harm's way, and then you have a lot more control over what's going on, and you're not so horrendously caught out of position or anything like that. So yeah, generally speaking, it's pretty straightforward. This team build's quite reliable. I would say it's probably like almost foolproof. Like obviously the big risk is catching a super on Jason Berta, but yeah, I mean beyond that, you're generally okay. Like the rest of the units here are so tanky and powerful. Just remember how they work. Like don't Janemba only tanks or guards in the first or second slot. Don't stick him in the bloody third slot without him having increased his defense. I'm only doing it here so that I can secure the victory rather than having any issues, because AGL Golden Frieza is just one of the absolute best tanks to have in the game. He just tanks so damn well. So yeah, he's obviously super duper helpful. But yeah, Cooler, again, just does so much work. But yeah, overall, this team was pretty easy to put together. Just a slight adjustment, obviously, on my original team that took on the stage. So just a nice little mix-up, really. A lot of fun to just change it up slightly, give people some different options. I think Jason Burt is probably the best int unit that you can use for the extreme side here, at least from my perspective. They definitely are, because the evasion, the support they provide, just all very, very solid. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Obviously, that's now the extreme class challenge done. So just the super challenge and the speed challenge I've actually already done, but I'll try and do it with a different team as well. Just to continue to show off different builds, basically. But yeah, that is going to be it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and bye.